Hi, everyone. This is Liz Brush, and I am organizing this webinar. So I know there's quite a few people who have signed up. We're at about maybe half of that number, not quite half. So with all the new users to go to webinar, I'm going to give it a few minutes just to make sure people, not only did they have to click the link, but they had to download and run the app on their computer. So I'm going to give them 2 or 3 more minutes to do that because the numbers keep jumping up. So if you can just wait patiently, we'll get started in about 3 minutes. Should have some elevator music. All right, well, my clock just hit 8:05, so we're going to get started. There's a few things I need to point out to you before we really get going, but the first thing is I'd like to welcome you to the first of a series of women's officials educational webinars that we're going to offer throughout the 2018 season. Hopefully we'll have, we're going to shoot to have one every 3 or 4 weeks throughout the season. And hopefully you will find these helpful in your officiating throughout the season. A couple tips before we get started. There is a chat box to the right. If you click the down arrow, that will open. And there's also a question box. If you click the arrow to that, that will open. We have, well, we have a lot of questions already. So if someone's asking if they need to sign in, if you're there, you don't need to sign in. So you should all hear us. Everyone else is muted so that you can clearly hear the presenter. The second thing is I know that Barb will be presenting and showing some video clips. she'll be able to see the video clips clearly. They will have a little bit of a buffering issue for the rest of us, which will make it seem more frame by frame, so to speak. So she'll explain the videos and walk through them. We'll be able to get an idea of what's happening because of the framing of it. However, it won't be as smooth as it would be, as it will be on her computer. However, when we post this on the e-learning platform, it will have a resources box, and we'll make sure that the video clips get put in that resources box so that you will have access to those. And for any certified trainers, we'll also get them on the certified trainer folders so that you can use them in your classes. So let's begin. So tonight's webinar is going to be covering one of this year's points of emphasis, which was obstruction of free space to goal, otherwise known as shooting space. We know that we had a big change in the rule in 2017 by taking out the word looking to shoot. And so we revisited it this year and really stressed the importance of having an opportunity to shoot and how that plays into the game and calling the foul. So our presenter is Barb Martnicchio. She's a national official. She's also one of the U.S. Lacrosse National Clinicians. She's from upstate New York, and she's involved in not only training for U.S. Lacrosse across the nation, but also in her local area. She presented this at this year's U.S. Lacrosse Convention, so some of you may have seen it or heard about it. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Barb, who will take over till the end.
Hi, everybody. First of all, I want to take a second and thank everyone for taking time out of their busy day at this time to be a part of this and learn about more about illegal defensive positioning and taking a look at it to go into your high school season. I know that maybe there's a good majority of you that might be coming off college games. So I need you to kind of take off your college hat and go put on your high school hat, because the way that we're looking at illegal defensive positioning tonight will be on the high school level when you're making this call. This call is a safety call. It's a judgment call, and it has to be called, obviously, in order to protect the players on the field. So we'll move right into it. Illegal defensive positioning, and also, oh, hang on one second. There we go. Hold on. Also, it's called obstruction of free space to goal and shooting space. So obviously it has three different names. What is illegal defensive positioning? It's when a player with any part of her body guards the goal outside the goal circle, so to obstruct that shooter's free space to goal between the ball and the goal circle, denying her the opportunity to shoot safely. And we're going to bring up the word safely probably more than numerous amount of times tonight, because this is a safety call. And with that being said, in this particular picture that you have here, though she is in illegal defensive positioning, the onus would always be on the shooter not to shoot, because it would be unsafe. Okay? Obstruction of free space to goal is in effect when the ball is in the critical scoring area and above the goal line extended, with the attack in possession, obviously, of the ball to go to goal. Okay? And what is it that we're looking for as officials? Okay, we're looking for the ball to be within the critical scoring area and above the goal line extended. The defender is in or on the 8-meter arc and not clearly marking an attack player within a stick's length. The attack player with the ball has an opportunity to shoot safely and actively on pursuit to goal. This call cannot be made if the ball carrier is so tightly marked that she cannot execute a safe shot. But also note that the positioning is initiated by the defender and not if she's drawn into the free space to goal by an attack player. We'll have some video on that later on describing what exactly that means. Okay. Wanted to take a little look also. Let's discuss a little bit of opportunity to shoot. We want to make sure that that shooter is, like I said, engaged in the act of wanting to go to goal and shoot. A stationary stance or looking off at a teammate to pass the ball is not actively looking to shoot. So we don't want to be calling a shooting space call on a player that is standing and meeting some of this criteria, but has no desire to shoot. Okay. Free space to goal is defined as two imaginary lines that are extending from the ball to the outside edges of the goal circle. And you can look at it on a few different angles. Okay. And this call would only be made above goal line extended. And it can even go deeper than that, you know, down near hanging hash and whatnot. But the lane and everything that you're looking for would be cleared above the goal line extended. Okay. We'll take a look at some typical basic scenarios of illegal defensive positioning. This is the simplest of shooting spaces call to make, okay? You're an official and you're running down the field. And as you run down, you see that sole player standing there. She's like, oh, I got this. I got this attack player coming in to goal, and she's standing there, okay? You want to make sure that you get that call off really quick before she gets to this look on her face. Because if you waited until this point to make that call, which is the deer in the headlight look, okay, then obviously you've waited way too long. So we want to make sure that we're making that call when the attack player, obviously this picture, she's outside the stick's length. And that's where you're going to want to be blowing that whistle pretty darn quick and calling that shooting space call. Okay, again, it's kind of fun to watch that again, but okay. If you don't make that call, you're going to have this player standing there. She's ready, she's waiting, and you have a potential of another foul that is going to take you down a whole different road that you don't want to happen. So you want to catch it before a dangerous propelling happens. Okay. Here's a setup of a couple different, I mean, these pictures were taken at the time I got asked to do this at convention. It was in the middle of the winter, and I went up to my daughter's school and took some pictures inside a gym. So we don't have the markings of an 8-meter arc and 12-meter fan. But I kind of wanted to give you the simplest of look for some of the new officials that are starting out. You're going to have that player down in there that might be marking someone, then decides to let go of her attack player, and she's standing in the path of the shooter, okay? Or you might have a defender that is starting to mark up on the shooter, and the girl tucked down low. And a lot of times as officials, we get so focused on that first defender and how far she is that we kind of lose track of that there's a player that could be down low on top of the goal circle or deeper within the 8-meter. So you got to kind of broaden your picture of looking at what's going on behind the first defender, okay? This is kind of another angle look at it. The way I kind of set this up, if you look at it, you almost could probably say that the first defender is not within a stick's length. It's kind of not what I was trying to go with in this picture, but I wanted to give you a different angle of what it looks like as 35 might be trying to come to goal. That defender's tucked down in there, okay? And again, we're going to discuss if the player is kind of in a stance, just looking, or is she actively in pursuit to goal? And that's what's going to make your decision making. If number 35 is pretty much standing there and she's cradling her stick back and forth, and you've got that player down low, instead of probably calling a illegal defensive positioning on the low player, you're going to be thinking more of a 3-second call. Okay, but these were just kind of stationary pictures that I put up for you to get a little bit of a look of what it looks like. Okay, you have here number 2, who is guarding the player down below the goal circle, which she's allowed to do. She is denied at all times of the 3-second violation because she is actively guarding the player behind the goal circle. But as number 1, if she were to want to come in and shoot, number 2 is now at this point going to need to turn her body and acknowledge where the ball is and get herself out of the illegal defensive positioning if number 1 were to want to come in and shoot. Okay, again, it's always on the onus of the shooter not to shoot, which at this point in time would probably have your offsetting fouls for the shooting space and the dangerous propelling. But I'm trying to let you know that number 2 should be turning, acknowledging where the ball is, taking a couple steps out, and then reapproaching number 1 when she's within a stick's length to keep herself from getting the shooting space call. Okay? Moving on to opportunity to shoot. Safely. All right, let's look to see if the attack is closely marked or double teamed in a way that thus denies the opportunity to shoot safely. Okay, I know that we have it in there that if a player, attack player, is double teamed, then that should deny the shooting space call. But there are double team scenarios where attack player would have the opportunity to shoot safely, and that's where it would kick in with us as officials to acknowledge that there is a double team going on, and if she does try to shoot, we have to be able to make that call of whether or not she shot safely. We're going to really be focusing on her stick after her shot has taken place, where it ends up. Did it hit the player in front of her? You know, was there any type of dangerous propelling going on, whatnot? But there are opportunities where there is a double team that player is going to be able to shoot safely. Look to see if the attack player has her hands free to execute a shot. Is it really possible for her to shoot safely? Okay. Look to see if the attack player's body is in position to execute a safe shot. Is she stationary and or too far to make a shot from her stance? Is her back to goal? There's a bunch of criteria that you can make just because she has a defender down low. Would she really be able to rip off a shot from the distance that she is from goal, the angle that she is from goal, the way her hands are positioned? You know, is the stick across her body? Would she really be able to make a back shot on goal? So it's just a kind of couple things that I want you to put into your head before, you know, calling that immediate shooting space foul. The attack player may be running at the goal while looking off to find a teammate, but you should always be aware of that potential shooting space call that may develop if there is an opportunity to shoot. Does she have an opportunity to shoot safely? Okay, so here's what I was talking about with the double team. And this particular slide brought up some nice conversation when we were at the convention. Okay, I obviously took the two shortest players that are on Onondaga's team. Obviously, one of them would be mine if you know how tall I am. And I picked the tallest player on the team. Okay, and this would be one of those case scenarios. Though she is double teamed, okay, if she were coming in and she were approaching these two particular defenders, it wouldn't take much for that player just to kind of go up a little on her toes, matter of factly, and be able to probably go through with a shot and be able to do it safely. So in this particular picture, I myself, obviously depending on the criteria and as she approached the players and how she did it, where her body ended up, where her stick ended up, I would say she would be able to shoot safely. So I would be calling a shooting space call on this particular situation. But you look at it, I mean, I'm sure that there's going to be a bunch of questions that are going to pop up from this because it does state in our rule book if she's double teamed. But there are certain scenarios where I feel they can get the shot off. Now you get this case scenario where you got the two tallest players on the team. This I wouldn't even probably be thinking at all about a shooting space call because these two players are towering over her. It would be virtually impossible for her to get a follow through off. With this particular situation, I'd be thinking more about a 3-second call on that defender. Okay? See the bigger picture. Look beyond the player with the ball, judge what's happening between the players and the goal. So that's kind of what I was touching on before. When you have the player, I mean, our first thing is to always kind of want to watch the ball and the very first defender. And I bet you if you could go back and look at plenty of your games, you know, plenty of my games, there's some times where we get so focused on the first defender that we're missing that lower defender that's, you know, on top of the goal circle, outside the goal circle or whatnot. So I kind of want you not to hone in on the first two defender, the first defender that comes to them, but be able to, you know, depending on where your positioning is and everything, keep yourself out wide enough so that you're going to be able to see what's going on as the big picture in the 8-meter arc. Okay? Something that we're going to move into next, which is how you're going to probably catch a lot of your low defender well, 3 seconds, but also the legal defensive positioning is when a team will play in a zone. The official needs to be very aware. You know, as you're going along in your first year, it's going to probably be a little more difficult for you to realize what type of defense the team is playing or anticipate play a little more. But as you go along, you'll be able to see how certain teams play. When a team plays a zone, an official needs to be aware of the players behind the pressure player. That individual that's marking the ball carrier. Oftentimes the back defenders are set up in a free space to goal when there are no other attack players within playing distance. The pressure player, and what happens is the pressure player is beaten. So the first player is beaten, and the defenders who are not legally marking attack players must adjust immediately. They must move to play the ball carrier or slide out of the free space to goal. If the defense stands or moves straight towards the player and her body in the free space to goal, the official must blow a whistle immediately. And I'm not sure if I took this next slide out. Nope, I didn't. Okay, so this is a little difficult maybe to look at. Oops, let me go back, my bad. If you look at this slide, what I was trying to say here was, first what I wanted to do was the ball to start here, okay? And this defender was here at the time, okay? So as this player passes the ball up to this player, who is automatically greeted with her first defender, all right? If this player were to get past her and come around, it's usually this defender down low that's either anticipating the play is going to be passed to this player, she just left her, and now she's going to back up this player. A lot of times if that play gets played up here and she's able to, roll dodge or whatnot and come through, it's that one defender that's not going to be able to get out of there in time. A little touch on that, that's as you become more of an experienced official going along. Okay, to make the shooting space call or not to. Okay, so now we're going to move into a little bit of our video, and I'm hoping that you're going to be able to see it good. And I am going to play each one of them a couple different times. We're going to start up with the first one. I'll let you look at it. She passes the ball here, and obviously more than once you'd be able to make that shooting space call. Okay, we'll hit it again. Okay, she comes. Oops, I'm very sorry. It's kind of tricky getting used to this. Okay, as this girl comes, she wants to shoot there a little bit, but as she brings herself back around, you're going to see that shooting space call. Okay, that's a pretty simple one. Here's another one for you to look at. She's coming in, bam. Okay, those players are pretty much just waiting for her. Okay, they're not making any attempt to move out of her path. They're just like standing there waiting for her to go in. So we'll grab that one. Okay, next one, the red player over here is starting with the ball. Okay, obviously I'm thinking you can anticipate where this is going to go. She comes running around, and there's your shooting space. Okay, that girl actually isn't even marked up with anyone. She is just there. Okay, this is another video that caused a lot of conversation. So we're going to look at this one a couple times, and I'm going to let you look at it to judge whether or not you feel there's a shooting space call there. Okay. Again, I'm not sure how well you're able to see this video, so I'll play it one more time and then we'll discuss it. Okay. And with this video, what happens here is the attack player gets the ball, okay, and she's running, and she kind of gets in there, and then I think she realizes, oh shoot, I that's not what I really want to do. And you'll see as she brings her stick down and around and she changes it, then all of a sudden you can see her body language change to, she's just changed her direction to trying to run out or look for another player to pass that ball to. Okay, so we'll grab this one. We'll bring her back. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to do this without goofing up. Okay, so she's coming through and her stick's facing her right now. She's just kind of running in there. Okay, at this point in time, her stick is still facing her. Okay, and if you look at it very slowly, ball is still facing her. Okay, she's really not knowing what she really wants to do. Okay, And again, her stick is still facing with the ball at her. She sees that defender. She's just kind of changed her direction. Okay.
Hey,
So with
Barb,
this, yep.
this is Liz. If you can, I can see the buffering issue. So if you can just slow down a little bit with the videos, like you did with this one, that would be great.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yepper. Okay. So with this, again, she's coming in. You know, she has a thought process going on here, but as she comes in, like I said, her stick is not in any position whatsoever up to want to be able to shoot. And she's just decided to change her, and she just wants to kind of get out of that situation right now. Okay. Now, again, with that particular video, okay, if a shooting space call were made, like I said at convention, we're not going to go be taking and pulling away, you know, your ability to officiate. I understand why a shooting space call would be called on this. But this video was legit just to have you look at her hand positioning and open up that perspective to your officiating. Okay? And add that. Okay? So, Liz, should I not be letting these play in normal mode or letting them all kind of go on my?
No, what you did with the last one was good.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think because we're seeing it frame by frame,
Okay.
You can show it and just take your time with it.
So I'm going to click on this one. You're going to see it, and then I'm going to grab it in the second one. Okay. Okay. Let me try and get my cursor down to be able to grab it in time. Okay. Oh, hold on. Give me 1 second. If you move this little mouse just a little bit, it struggles. Let me try to get it. Bear with me. There it goes. Okay. So as you can see, the player down below has the ball. She's rounding around and she sees her player up at the top of the 8 and she passes it to her. Okay. In this particular case, as you see the ball hit, okay, right here, she would have an opportunity to pump and shoot. Okay. Right there. Okay. And that person obviously is denying her the free space to go. She catches the ball. Okay, she would want to take a shot here. Okay, so that would be making that shooting space call to keep that defender safe. Okay? All right. Moving on to the next one. The player up here is going to be getting a free position. Okay, and you've got a couple defenders coming in on her on this one. I'll let you run, and then I'll grab it. Okay, so she's going to be taking it, and you'll see where the defenders come in on her. And does she have an opportunity to shoot? And did she pull back because that opportunity was denied for her? Let's find out. Okay. She passes to her teammate who catches the ball, and pretty much bam, right there, she wants to shoot. Okay, and you see those defenders coming in, even though she's guarded by 90, okay, but 90 is guarding her obviously on her left side, and her stick is not is on the other side. So she has an opportunity to shoot, and the other defender wants to come in on it, but by the time she were to get to her, the shooting space call should have been called, and right there still her stick is in position. She wants to be able to take that shot. Right there. Okay, see it? A couple different times there. So we want to make sure. And lucky, and thank goodness she knew enough to pull herself out and come back out. Okay. Okay, with this one, I kind of wanted to bring up like the stance thing. So you have a girl down that's in there, quote unquote, illegally, if this player in the blue would want to go to goal. So this player is defended on her non-stick side. So she would have an opportunity to shoot very clearly. You wouldn't be making that call right now if she's standing there. You would be waiting for her to start her progression or her momentum to goal. I would clearly be thinking two things. I've got to be ready. I've got to have my whistle ready and in my mouth to make that shooting space call if blue decides to take one more step and go to goal. And also the 3-second call would be another one that you could come in with. Okay. And that's kind of where this one is. So this player down low is going to pass to her teammate. And even though her body kind of comes, if she had just turned and tried to go to goal on this one, we would have had a definite shooting space call. Okay, but her whole action shows that she's getting that ball and they're wrapping that ball around. Okay, so even though you had two players that are there, you watch her catch that ball and she's not even though I'm not allowed to say looking to shoot, okay, but she's not looking even to want to go to goal. She's just looking to turn her body and she's looking to pass her teammate. So therefore, with that being said, this player right here, I'm hoping that you're going to be getting a 3-second count on her. I don't really feel that we need to look at that one again. The attack player's back is to goal on this next one, and she's unable to see the goal or the players in front of the goal. So she would not be able to shoot safely. Thus, no shooting space would be called. Okay? So this player, again, there's your defender low. You're thinking 3 seconds on that one. Because if, in fact, this shooter, this blue player, were to catch that ball and even not take a look at goal first and shoot, then you would definitely have a dangerous propelling in your mind on that one. Because she needs to know what's going on in front of the goal before she can take that shot, and especially those over-the-shoulder shots. They need to know what's in front of the goal circle, and they need to shoot safely. So you're going to wait again. Let me see if this is the next slide. Yes. So you got the player here. So now you're getting ready because you got that blatant player down in there. Okay. So I'm thinking 3 seconds or, ooh, I got to watch this player. As soon as boom, that happens and she makes her turn, that's when you got to be really ready to blow that whistle. Because one more step and she's starting to go towards goal, I'm going to be making that illegal defensive positioning judgment and call the shooting space call. We got to be patient with this too. We don't want to be just handing out free positions to players just because somebody is down in there. Okay, we want to make sure that they are on, trying to pursue goal and have a goal come out of it. Okay. I'm trying to remember what happens this one. Let's check it out and see what happens. My screen is in the way. Okay, yep. All right, so we'll grab this one up. She's looking, okay? Nothing's going on up this high. So if there's a player down in there at this point, again, you're thinking 3 seconds. You're not going to be wanting to make any shooting space calls, but boom, see right there? As soon as she starts to make her move, and now she's in pursuit to goal, okay? And if you were to take an imaginary line on the outside of the goal circle to that shooter who now is on her way to goal, you're going to be making that shooting space call. I mean, you're legit going to be making it up here. Okay? Take a look at this one. There's quite a few of them, so I got to even refresh myself on what's going on here. Okay, again, she comes in and her back is kind of to goal on this one. Okay, and that defender is down in there, but does she have an opportunity to shoot? That's the question. Okay, so we're going to hit play on this one. We're going to grab it. Okay, so she comes up Okay, and at this point in time, she's not making a progression on goal. Okay, she's kind of just running straight across. She's actually kind of looking at her teammates right now, probably wondering who she can pass to. And she really doesn't know kind of what she probably wants to do with that. She's still kind of looking at her teammates. And even though the girl is down low, or see the bigger picture, okay, this is going to be a 3-second count that you should be thinking about. Because she does not have an opportunity to shoot right now. I bet you in a lot of these, if you were to go back again and look at some of your games, some of the shooting space calls could be made into this 3-second call, which pretty much is going to be the same outcome. Because if I'm going to call a 3-second call here, it's going to be set up in the same place as the shooting space call would have been made. Okay. Perfect one. Same thing. Okay. With her back to goal. Okay. Let's see if I did this right. And start. Oh, sorry, everybody. So you got 36 with the ball. Okay. This is where, if you're looking too, this is that she's the defender. If the shooter had an opportunity to shoot right here, even though the defender started to draw that attack player in, if that attack player stayed, if that defender stayed with her attack player, she would have been good, but she decided to drop off from her attack player. Okay, now at this point, the shooter does not have an opportunity to shoot right here. Okay, her own teammates in the way right there anyway, so she doesn't have an opportunity here. There's the defender down low, so I would be counting at this point for the 3-second violation. Okay, she still has good defense on that defender. She still has no opportunity to shoot. Where she's at, there's no way she's going to be able to shoot through that defender. Okay, still nothing there. Okay, you should have a 3-second call, if anything, on that defender. I'm going to let you guys watch this one again. I hope that you can see it in fast mode, okay? Okay. Fast mode 2, I mean, I'd have to recount it again, but make sure you have a good full 3 seconds on a player. And this is what I'm going to show you with how the attack player goes through and how the defender should stay with her player. Okay, the attack player goes through, the defender stays within a stick's length. And if you look at that, remember, a stick's length is if the stick of the defender were touching her own body, then the tip of her stick would be touching the attack player. Okay, it's not an outstretched arm. It's a stick's length body to body. She stays within the stick's length all the way through. Here's a good one. I think this is the one where, yep. Okay, she's coming all the way through. Okay. This is a pretty good video and showing how to stay with the attack player. Okay, the attack comes through. Okay, she has no opportunity to shoot. Okay, her teammate's there. The defender is going with her. Okay, she keeps going. Her momentum keeps going. It does look a little like she gets a little outstretched. But that player, when you watch it in fast motion, that defender stays and keeps going. She keeps going with her player. She doesn't hesitate. She keeps her eye on the ball. She keeps her momentum. She flows through. Good on the onus of that shooter not to shoot. If she had given any sort of hesitation and held up, then a quick shooting space call would need to be made on that. I'm hoping that you'll be able to see it again. She keeps going, 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 going. Okay? And here's what happens if you shoot, okay? So if that attack player were to, in fact, shoot when the two were going through, okay, the two of them are going through, and you'll see if she were to shoot, Okay, that would be solely a dangerous propelling call on the attack player, okay? That would not be an offsetting shooting space call. It would be solely a dangerous propelling because the defender stayed with her attack player all the way through. And here's the one where, you know, they drop off. These are super simple, but, you know, we do have some people probably that are just starting out with their officiating, and it's just kind of a little neat way to look at it. See the hesitation? She's within a stick's length. All of a sudden, the defender is so focused on the shooter, you'll see it in multiple games in your season, I'm sure. She stops her momentum and decides to stand.
Hey, Barb,
Yep.
when you slow that down, if you're able to use your cursor to point out, you know, like you would point out that low kid right now with your cursor, if you can do that, and when you stop the video,
Okay.
and just kind of, if you have more videos, just sort of point out the quality. If you can point out the kids either using your cursor or describing like them by their number, that would be helpful.
Okay. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. This one will go, I'm going to assume by what Liz is saying that must be the video quality is not, I mean, mine's just as crisp and clear as can be on my screen. So I'll do all of these pretty much slow at this point. Okay. Oh, let's go back and try that again. Play it and grab it. Okay. So we got the white defender up high, okay, as the attack player comes in. Okay, she decides, the defender stops. I don't know how to, well, I'll have to do it after because I don't know how to pause it here and then. So the blue player keeps going through. The white player stops. And the attack shoots and boom, hits her. Okay, the girls had a lot of fun making this video. Okay, so the onus obviously on this one is on the shooter, of course, not to shoot. Okay, she's staying with her attack player. Okay, she drops off from her attack player. Okay, so right here, I can't let go of it because if I let go of it, it's gonna run through. But the player in white right here is in shooting space. So right at this point, right there, you should be having an immediate shooting space call on this, okay? And then if by chance the shooter still comes through and shoots, sunk, okay? You're gonna be having an offsetting violation of shooting space and dangerous repelling. And as I told everybody at convention, no worry, the girls in this video were not harmed in the making of this film. They actually were asking if they could be the one to get hit by the ball. So, goes through, shoots, and hits her, okay? This is where I just kind of, let's see, we're gonna start off with the ball. I think, I'm gonna watch it for a second because I can't remember if it's this player or if it's this player. Okay, and I gotta move this thing on the side because I can't see the screen. Okay. Let me watch it for a second. Ooh, that doesn't want me to do that at all. Okay, making the call. Why is that doing that now? Here it goes. Oh, it's actually this player. Okay. Okay, so the reason of this one is to be ready. To be ready to be able to be this official over here. Okay. Actually, this would be yeah, this should be the lead official. So this should be the C because the table's on the side. So, you know, oh, there's the lead. My bad. I'm sorry. I'm very, very sorry. So the lead over here should be anticipating play. As he sees this play coming down, okay, yes, they're supposed to be knowing where the ball is, okay, but he should also be having a bigger picture on as this player comes whipping up through the field, having a bigger picture on anticipating what's going to be going on, because more than once when the white team is up and there's very few defenders, somebody is probably going to be jumping inside that 8 meter and trying to stop this girl with a ball. Okay. Let's see if I can grab it. Okay. So can you see the girl in the middle of the field? Okay. She's coming up with it right now. Okay. She's coming. She's now meeting the restraining line. All right. So now you're just going to be looking, because at this point in time, you got a couple defenders in there that are going to want to jump in there. Boom. Okay. They're coming right in. You can see them right there. And there should be a quick whistle. Okay. Because all she's thinking about wanting to score. Okay. Keep it safe. Okay. Just anticipate. Try to anticipate as you move along in your officiating what's going to happen. Okay, you should be quick with that shooting space call. Okay, this should be up high, in front of your face, up above. Hold it for a second, okay, and make sure that your shooting space call is just crisp, away from your body. And like I said, let it be there for a second or two, so everybody knows what you're calling on that. Don't get caught with your whistle in the wrong place. Be ready. Be ready with your whistle to make a shooting space call. Because if you don't make that shooting space call quick and on time, like I said, it could lead into, obviously, a carding scenario. Okay, what's most important when making this call from either the lead or the trail position, okay, is being in proper position to make the call. Okay, positioning is big. I think I might have my slides a little out of order now that I look at this, but I'm gonna go over positioning after a couple slides here. Okay, being in position means to be able to see through the not from behind the players. You want to be offset so that you can see the distance and space between the attack player and the defender. So one of two things, not just sticks length, but also, other type of fouls like contact. Who made contact with who? Was the defense there first and then the attack met, or vice versa? But you're positioning out wide so that you have a bigger range of the field, as per being up too close and not being able to get the bigger picture. Okay, you want to be able to see a space in between, such as here. Okay, if I was standing directly behind 35, I might not be able to tell if there's a stick's length between the first defender. Okay, what to think about when making this call? It's a safety call. That's your biggest, when in doubt, if even you think that you didn't, that might not have been shooting space. But if it was a safety call and you were trying to keep the game safe, then that's what your main issue is with this call. Okay. It's an individual official's judgment. Okay. So while there's criteria to be met for making this call, one official's judgment for making this call could be different from another official's. So, one person might look at it safety in a different way. So, since there's no exact science to making this call, it makes it one of the most difficult calls for us to make in our game. And lastly, if the attack player is pursuant to goal and the defender has illegally placed her body so that she occupies this free space to goal, that she's not entitled to, reducing the opportunity for the attack to shoot safely, you've got to make that call. Okay? When the lead official makes the call, he should identify the players who obstructed the free space to goal. So, like, literally make sure you try to get the number. You get so wrapped up in the play sometimes. I'm a little guilty of that myself. That you just make the shooting space call. You got a couple defenders down in there, and now all of a sudden you're like, oh, I think it was 4. So try to identify who the player is. It's very important that you're putting the correct player behind. And then obviously where the offending player, where everybody was on the 8-meter arc, okay? And making sure that you're giving the correct hash, okay? So where the defender is, as per where the attack player is coming in, is gonna be where you're gonna set the free position up, okay? If the attack player is coming in from, so say say the attack player is coming in from the first inside hash, okay? And then the defender is coming in across the 8, okay? But by the time you make the shooting space call, the defender, if you were to take the defender and bring the defender straight out of the 8-meter arc, then it would almost look like you're going to give a free position at the center. But you need to know where the violation happened and where the attack player is. If the attack player is coming in on an angle, that's where you want to make sure you're setting up that free position, so as not to give a first inside or a second inside hash to bump it up right down the middle, okay? The lead official will always restart play in the high school game on any shooting space call, okay? Once she's made eye contact with her trail, arcs cleared and whatnot, the lead will always be restarting that play. And when the trail makes a call, it's the same case scenario. They should give the lead the number of the person who obstructed the free space to goal. And again, know where it was made and help with giving information to the lead official as to where it's going to be going, okay? Helping if it's on your side of the 8 to make sure that your side of the 8 is cleared out, and the lead again will restart the play. And again, this is where I kind of goofed up my slides a little bit, but it's positioning. Everything is about positioning, 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 okay? That's what making this call properly is all about, okay? If you're not in good position to make that call, then you're going to be missing some shooting spaces this year, okay? Again, I'm bringing these back. As you can see, if this were a trail official, they would have some good positioning here because they can see the distance between the attack player and the defender. Okay, this one's a little tight, okay? If I was up tight, it's almost hard to tell from where I'm standing, and I'm not getting a full picture of, I'm pretty much just honed in on these players right here, instead of backing myself out and being able to see more that might be going on, okay? It's kind of a different picture if you just back yourself out. You get a better, clear view, okay? And of course, as all of you know, I'm a pretty big Snoopy fan, and I found this, and I call them as I see them. Okay. With this I don't know if there's any coaches that are on this, so I kind of just wanted to add just this one in here. How to teach your players to stay out of shooting space. Okay. And first off, like I said at convention, we need to just get rid of that, but she led with her stick. Okay. Because I can be a low defender down here. Okay. And I can lead with my stick all day long, and I'm going to be in shooting space all day long if I'm leading with my stick as the attack player comes in. Okay, so let's try to get rid of that, because leading with your stick, technically, if you wanted to talk about that, if a defender is if she's got her body outside the shooting space cone, and her stick were to be pointing into the shooting space cone, but her body was outside the free space to goal, then yes, I guess you could say she's leading with her stick into the cone, but keeping her body safely out of the obstruction of free space to goal. But a lot of times, I'm sure many of you heard she's leading with her stick, and that really has no criteria when making this call or not making it. Just get your body out of the free space to goal. Teach your players that, like in this case scenario, if the attack player is going from here to here, okay, and the defender's down there, I'm going to suggest that you just teach them to take 2 or 3 steps back and kind of create somewhat of a bowed re-entry to the attack player. So as the attack player is coming in, make that clear acknowledgement to trying to get out of the free space to goal, creating kind of an arc and re-entering as you become within a stick's length to the attack player. Okay, so that was just a little like a coach's scenario to think about. I want to give a shout out to the girls that were very patient after practice to let me take pictures for this presentation. And other than that, that's pretty much what I have on Barb Martinicule's illegal defensive positioning. So there you go, Liz.
Thanks, Barb. We've answered a few questions, and just a couple that I want to clarify. just so that people are clear. There was a question, is shooting space ever a flag? And the answer is no. We're always going to use an immediate whistle because it's a safety issue, a safety concern. So we want to blow it quickly, blow it loudly, and keep the players who are putting themselves in harm's way, take care of them right away. The other question was, when you have a shooting space that's a legit shooting space and the player shoots and you have a dangerous propelling, and typically you'll whistle it like you would a shooting space loud, and then you can come in. So you would whistle your shooting space, signal the shooting space, then you can call your timeout, and you would card the shooter for dangerous propelling. From that point, you're going to determine which team has the alternate possession and award the ball to the team who has alternate possession. So I think those were two of the main questions. And another one was, do you call shooting space from the lead positioning in a 3-person system? Obviously, if you're in 2-person system, you'll be calling shooting space on your half of the 8-meter arc that's closest to you as lead. You're the only one responsible for that. The trail in a 2-person system will call shooting space on their side of the 8-meter arc. Remember, shooting space is about angles, and so trails in a 2-person system are discouraged from making the call on the lead side because the lead has a better look at that. In a 3-person system, typically the C and the trail will call shooting space. There may be a few instances, such as a fast break, where the lead is the only one that's up that side of the field, may call it. Also, in a situation where there's a very low attacker who may be on an outside hash and a defender in there. So that would be one of the other opportunities or other times when a lead would call shooting space. In settled play, it's important to allow your trail to call that because they have a better angle on the look of that. Someone asked why we wouldn't call shooting space on 2 players who are obstructing free space to goal. I think just typically you would just make the call and put 1 player behind. I suppose unorthodoxly you could put 2 behind, but that is not suggested. Girls looking to shoot. Here's a question. The girl's looking to shoot from the 12-meter. The defender is on the 8-meter, will get moved up to the hash mark. The player who is in shooting space is the fouler. So the spot of the foul, which is the spot where she is standing at the time of the foul, will be where you set up the 8 meters. So, or I'm sorry, where you set up the free position. So if you have a player on the 12 and a defender in shooting space who is on or in the arc, she will be placed on an 8-meter hash mark. If she is outside the 8-meter arc, the ball will be placed at the spot of the foul, the spot where she was standing. So this foul can, but rarely, in a few instances, can be set up outside of the 8-meter arc. And in that instance, you will place the player taking the free position on that spot and clear a lane only. Offsetting. Someone stands confused. All right. We're going to shoot have average last year. I'm not sure I quite understand this question, but there definitely is a difference between looking to shoot and having an opportunity to shoot. The basic concept of why that whole looking to shoot came out was because it's very difficult, especially as trail, to actually see if the shooter from behind her is looking to shoot or looking somewhere else. So now we're looking for opportunity, and we're looking for an opportunity mostly with her body, the way her body is facing, and if her hands are in a free position to take a shot. So we tried to eliminate that looking to shoot, but focus on opportunity and what really is an opportunity to shoot. The defender does not need to be in the 8 meter. So for this foul to be called, the attacker must be in the 12 meter. Someone's asking about mechanics for two-person. I'm not quite sure what the mechanics are in basketball, but you will keep all players inside of you. As trail, you tend to have moving kind of an arc movement so that you're offset from where the ball is if it's on your side of the 8 meter arc. As lead, you will move on what's called a tangent to stay relative to the ball and the players carrying the ball. I'm not sure that answers because I don't know basketball. I just did explain, wait, we're getting 3 more questions about when would you set up shooting space that is not on the 8 meter arc. So the example would be player with the ball steps into the 12. The defender is directly in front of her, is not within a stick's length, is not guarding somebody within a stick's length, and the player with the ball has an opportunity to shoot. If the defender is outside of the 8 meter arc, where she is standing when the call is made is where you will set up the free position, and then you would clear a lane. It's not very common at all, but that's how you would set it up if it did happen. So, okay, we've been on for just over an hour, and I want to say thank you to Barb for presenting this. I want to say thank you to the almost 200 people who attended. This will be up probably by the late middle of this week on the learning management system where your all the online courses are. It will be in a similar place to where the new rules and penalties girls online course is, that you can be found there, and we will also post the videos. So on that note, thank you everybody, and look forward to another webinar within the next 3 or 4 weeks. Good night.